Hello, hello, hello. Greetings, everybody. This is Alicia. I am Barney Manahari, and I am back again today with you for another pick a card reading. Today, I was inspired by the Fae. So we're going to be asking the Fae realms what messages they have for you. And we're coming into a new moon in Gemini, and in the United States, where I currently live, that is happening on Memorial Day, which I believe is also a bank holiday in the UK. So Gemini is giving me that fast-moving energy and that air energy, which is really reminding me of the Fae. And also, the Fae are really playful as well. And Gemini rules over, children and day-to-day. And Gemini can have good sense of humor and all that jazz. It also rules over trickster, interestingly enough. So let's get into it. And on pile number 1, you've got this tarot deck. You've also got card number 44, List of the Shadows. And you've got the key from the For the Love of Dragons Oracle deck. Pile number 2, you have got He of the Fiery Sword, card number 4. And number 9, the Temptress. And you've got this tarot deck. Pile number 3, we've got card number 48, which is interesting because we've got 44, 4, and 48. And card number 3, or pile number 3, you've got a collective of pixies, and you've got the Artist, and you've got this tarot deck. So take a moment, check in with yourselves, your higher self, and ask yourself which pile is for you. And I am going to get started with pile number 1 in just a moment, when I've cleared away these 2 piles. Okay, pile number 1. Let's pop your number 1 up here, and we'll put your cards here. So first of all, in this deck, I'm noticing that the dragon is green for a start, and he's holding a key, obviously with the key holder. And I'm noticing as well that the 3 and the 1 breaks down to a 4. And green is giving me heart energy, but specifically in this deck, the key is vibration. So it's a frequency key. So it's the key to your own frequency. And a lot of that is to do with I had a teacher once who used to say that the vibration of gratitude is the vibration of I can't remember if she used to call it manifestation, but we're always manifesting. It's like we're always experiencing gravity, but we tend to call the things that we like manifestation, the results that we like manifestation, and we have a tendency to call the stuff that we don't like karma. But it's all manifestation. It's the energy from which we do things from. And if you think about it, we've talked about it a bit on this channel before, that entertainment has become, and socializing has become synonymous with kind of rest and relaxation. But when you get into meditation and you get into kind of, let's say, a conscious version of the spiritual path, you're like, okay, now I'm choosing to walk with the light, as opposed to I'm just gonna let life happen to me. You're like, now I'm going to be intentional about life, and I'm going to go about it in that way. And not everybody does that, and not everybody has to. But when you're someone who has, not everybody has to. But I guess if you're in your own energy, your own frequency is where I'm going with this. You manifest from a place, and you manifest a life that is in harmony with what your true heart's desire is. So I'm seeing this key as being the heart chakra. the key being able to tune into your own heart. And there's that term in psychology, I think it's called attunement, where you're able to attune to your own needs and desires. And I use the words desires more kind of from a very pure divine space, like what do I want to bring forth in the world? For my natural person, for my natural talents, gifts, history, and I'm talking like past lives, like what I came in with my South Node stuff. And where my, looking at my chart, because anyone who's on this channel probably has an interest in astrology and what that map tells us about ourselves and about our past and where we're going of our soul's journey and where we are in this chapter of it. Not everybody does, but it's the way I look at it, and I think I draw in people who have a similar kind of, I guess, a similar understanding, at least on a soul level, even if it's not something that we've gotten into before. So that ability to tune into your own frequency, and a reader that I love that really talks about this really well, and I go to her for a lot of my starseed stuff, is Lexi the Leo. And she really talks about, she's really good at talking about like frequencies. So that's the key. And being grateful for, doing our shadow work, being grateful for who we are, the lessons that we're learning, the teachers that we have in our life. And I'm thinking straight away of, what's his name? Wayne Dyer. So he was a big, I guess, I don't want to quite say self-help, but he was kind of a bit of a Tony Robbins, before Tony Robbins, I guess. But I heard him interviewed by Abraham Hicks, and he was, where I'm tangenting, I realize that. But I remember him, he had written so many books, and he'd been married like, I don't know, 5 times or something, or, so my point is that even somebody who like teaches this and who really studies it and who all does that, it doesn't mean that they have, like, in inverted commas, find the perfect partner, have the perfect marriage, have the perfect life, any of that kind of stuff. And I think early in his life, he struggled with addiction, particularly alcohol. Don't quote me on that. You'd have to look it up. But even at that, towards like in his very mature stage, Abraham Hicks interviews him, or Esther Hicks interviews him, and he's like having a tantrum about he lives in Maui, but he's having a tantrum about something. I think it was like the food, the genetic food, and she was just like, well, that's not going to help your vibration being in this, this energy about it. And, he was really kind of, I can't remember if he recognized that, but what made me think about that is he wrote a book about his dad, who was like my greatest teacher. And he had a very tumultuous relationship with his dad. And he actually told this story about how he was going to go to and desecrate his father's grave by urinating on it. But he got there and he had this realization, he had this moment of like, I've learned so much from not the way I would have chosen to learn it, but he had this immense gratitude for the learning and what it brought him. Not necessarily the experience in and of itself, but then he ended up writing this book out of that, and being able to key into that vibration, being able to unlock that energy within his heart. I don't know if that was at the start of his journey or somewhere in between, but it definitely unlocked a level of energy and trauma that he was carrying around, that he was able to release, and he was able to pour it into something beautiful, and he was able to pour it into, helping others and helping himself at the same time. And also down the road, he's still having a tantrum about, the way food is going in Maui. So it's just interesting. People have, I also had a teacher once who said that we're one, we're one thought away from victim status. So to remain empowered, to keep ourselves empowered, means doing our energetic work every day. It means communing with our divine selves. It means communing with, the light. On the daily, you don't just get a certificate and hang it up on the wall and go, yay, I've reached a certain point and now I can just kick back. And that's another thing. Kicking back is not necessarily, like, there's a difference between kicking back, taking a rest, and being relaxing. There's a difference between just kind of like vegging and relaxing, I guess is what I want to say. And everything in harmony, everything in balance. And that's what I'm hearing from the Fae a little bit, is like, sometimes it's energy in and energy out. Aspire, respire, breathe in, breathe out. That pulsation, life is breathing. The divine is breathing life through us. We can't even breathe ourselves. That teacher used to say that too. We can't even breathe ourselves. We rely on the divine force and we channel that energy, and it's up to us to be grateful for that. It's up to us. We all have free will. We all have the same 24 hours of the day. It's up to us. And I'm hearing Maya Angelou. I did not put the wound there, but it is my responsibility to heal it. So you, my pile ones, you're my healer pile. And what I'm very much getting for you, pile number 1, is that you are healed. Would you be healed? You heard the call. You said, yes, I am going to take the cards that I am dealt, and I am going to play them to the best of my ability. And I am going to learn what I need to learn. And I am going to move forward in the way that I need to move forward. And I am going to be me doing that. And I don't care what anybody else has projected on me, because I am healing that in my own aura first. And from that, I will go out and take my key in the world. And I will be very careful going forward who I'm going to let see my key. Let alone, I'm never going to hand it over to another person, per se. The key to your heart, unless they have earned that space, and you can only earn that vibrationally. You have to be a match for that. It's funny because I used to have this person that I used to know who's a relationship coach, and he was always saying that you had to be a match for your partner. And we have such a superficial way of looking at that. If you read any of the magazines, or you read a lot of the relationship, a lot of the superficial kind of like how to the quick fixes, I guess, to finding a relationship. The quick fixes to like men versus women, or partner versus partner. How to manipulate somebody into doing your bidding. And it doesn't work long term, because if somebody's not there of their own free will, like, do you really want them anyway? And that brings me onto Liz. So the point is purity. And you have purified your energy, and you are grateful for who you are, because you've looked into the mirror, you've done your shadow work. And Liz of the shadows, she is this beautiful, beautiful fairy. She can fly, but she walks in the darkness, and she helps those who are at that point of wanting to take responsibility for themselves. She helps those who have been, I'm going to use the victim, rescuer, perpetrator triangle, for example. She helps those who have been victimized, who had nobody to help them, who were victimized for being themselves, who were victimized for telling the truth, who were victimized for being kind, who were victimized for being truthful, just in their own heart energy, who ended up probably in their formative years, or in an intimate relationship, or in an intimate space, You don't normally get that long term in, let's say, a workspace or in an intimate partnership later on, unless you've experienced that in former years, because you will pick up on what's not healthy. You will pick up on what's not safe. And if you have not been someone who's been taught that, and that's the cycle of generational trauma. So she helps those who have been not only victimized, but those who have, like, imagine being on the other side of it as well. Not everybody who has been victimized ends up victimizing, but many people do. So this idea of somebody who's like wanting to take responsibility for what they've done to others, how they've treated people, how they've treated themselves, because ultimately all betrayal at the end of the day is self-betrayal. It's self-betrayal from the, if you victim, rescuer, or persecutor. If you put someone in a position where they need to be rescued, you victimize them. If you've put yourself in a place where you need to be rescued, you have victimized yourself. Now, obviously, as a child, you have you don't really have any control over that. And I'm hearing John Deloney, the YouTube psychologist, saying that the things that kept you safe as a child will destroy your adult relationships when you're an adult. So I'm seeing the star card, I'm seeing the moon card. You've had to exist in, and look at all this beautiful, her crown chakra. Look at the tips of her fingers, her heart chakra. She's embodying this beautiful, this ethereal light, and she brings it into dark places. And I feel that for you as well. 44 is also a number that is associated with Kuan Yin. In that divination system, it's the poem that talks about equanimity, and that's really about it's one of the Brahma Viharas, and it's the difference between like not being pulled in one direction or another for selfishness, or like not craving energy. And I think the near enemy is indifference. So having equanimity is kind of like having empathy. It's being able to understand the situation, and having empathy for ourselves really means not betraying ourselves and not wanting to infringe on somebody else's free will is having empathy for them. So it's really, I'm hearing that phrase, be the change that you want to see in the world. And a lot of people pleasers will take that phrase to mean, and speaking from experience, will take that phrase to mean, I'll be self-sacrificing. I'm so strong, I can carry other people's burdens for them. No, that's not what it means. You cannot do somebody else's push-ups for them. You cannot think their thoughts for them. You cannot raise their vibration for them. It's an inside job. You cannot make another person happy. So we're back to this being a match for the people in relationship with you, whether that is a sibling, whether that's a parent, whether that's a life partner, whether that's in a business sense, a business partner, or even colleagues, like our neighbors, any relationship that you're in. If you're coming to it with a pure kind of energy, I don't want to necessarily say a pure heart, because you may be dealing with someone that's not in that energy towards you, and it would be foolish of you to give them the key to hurt you. So it's about discernment, and discernment always reminds me of the heart chakra, because the heart chakra is air energy, and she flies in the darkness. You, I feel, have been in a dark night of the soul, and you are now this list of the shadows. You've done your shadow work, and you are a light in the dark, not only for yourself but for others. And yes, you have every right to close the door and lock it on anyone who is abusing you, misusing you, smear campaigning you, whatever it is. People who do not have the strength or the courage of their convictions to stand in their own energy, to not go around with to not just do something from peer pressure, to do something because it's right, to be in integrity. To be in integrity means to build action from your values, in my opinion. It means to know and to be able to do that, you have to know what your values are. And to know your values is not like labeling. It's funny because I had a teacher once who used to say that 9 times out of 10, or maybe 99 times out of 100, even in ourselves, we can say the word I feel is overused because we're so in our heads so much. And this is bringing me back to the new moon in Gemini that's coming up. And also, for the first time in July, Uranus is going into Gemini. So that'll be not the first time ever, the first time in 84 years. So for most of us, this is the first time we'll experience Uranus in Gemini, and Uranus is the unexpected. So having new ways and new ideas and things moving fast is going to be something. So I'm seeing for this this pile, like just big change in terms of how you're moving forward in your life, because I really feel like you've done the lion's share of the healing. What was past, the way you lived your life in the past is not how you're living your life going forward. It's just not. You found a key, even if it hasn't manifested yet in a way that in a way that is concrete yet. I would just, what they're telling me is to write down ideas. I can't remember who it was that said, there's some quote about never met a piece of paper who didn't love an idea. I mean, we've got 2 queens on the boards. What did I say? You're my healer piles. Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, discernment, building, King of Swords, my gosh. Feather and the Sword, Knight of Cups. Beautiful, beautiful, loving energy. This is the way of the tarot. This is the way of the Panda Tarot. 9 of Wands. What did we say about, like, this is the notoriously the wounded warrior card, and you're healed. You're not this anymore. This is actually a really sweet card. 3 of Swords. Yes. You've been stabbed in the back a lot. You have been betrayed. You've been left for dead. Knight of Pentacles. 2 of Swords. My gosh, a lot of air energy here for you, pile. Oh my goodness, the Sun. A lot of air energy for you on deck here, pile number 1. Dream space, followed by the Sun. This is a bonus card in this pack. I absolutely love this for you. Like I was saying, you guys are healed. I was kind of surprised that the Star didn't come out, but this is better than the Star insofar as that it's got that beautiful diamond heart here. He's holding the diamond heart. So that's like showing me that your heart, you're so solid in your heart, but you've got that beauty. I think it's, is it Chitra? That I can't remember which nakshatra it is, but it has that, it's one of the Libra ones, but it has that quality of being multifaceted and multi-covered, and it's the, like you're as within, so without, as below, as above, so below. And we've got the dream space, which to me is representing the Star and the Moon in this card, and then you've got the Sun right next to it. You have put down other people's burdens. You're allowing yourself to be, to be a loving adventurer, but you're not going to let somebody take you for a ride anymore. You protect that which is important to you, which is your family, your dreams, and you're quite happy to build bit by bit, and you're done. That part of betrayal, it's out of your life. You're not having to experience that anymore, pile number one, because you are healed. You have really severed that which does not serve you anymore. And that's wherever you are in your you know, whatever age you are, whatever stage you're at in life. This is what this Gemini new moon and this Uranus in Gemini is bringing forth for you in this next stage is a lot of protection. I'm seeing a lot of Archangel Michael. Two of Swords. I'm not getting a bad vibe from it in this. Like, you're really, it's not, I'm not getting indifference or being stuck, because normally she's blindfolded and her heart is covered. But in this, I'm getting curiosity for you. And I'm getting like kind of like loving adventure. Do you ever see those videos on YouTube of like pandas in their panda space? I'm getting that for the Knight of Cups for you. Like, you're allowing yourself to transform. You're working with spirit. The rose for me is very much a symbol of protection. You have got you've got your own self-protection. You've become a queen. You've become the healer. If you're not in a relationship, if it's something that you want, that's definitely on the cards for you, and somebody who will also be a protector with you and for you and by your side, who will never, you know, try to take advantage of you. I see a divine couple here for sure. And I'm seeing this the sword and the feather. And that for me is a very, very divine symbols. The feather being, you hear that the pen is mightier than the sword. So I'm seeing a quill. So be careful. Just be mindful of your words. Your words are very potent. Your words are very powerful. And don't let other people's words knock you off your game. Knock you off your, like, put you into... in any sort of, like, pull you in any direction. You know, I always think about astrology the same as weather. Like, even though we all have our different makeups in our chart, so things hit us in different ways and in different houses, and we all have different lessons. We're all part of this big dance, but also everybody else is experiencing the same astrology, but it just hits them differently. So your days of like Nine of Wands, of being the wounded warrior and being betrayed, they are over. And whether you have put, you know, whether you have had to leave people that were not able to grow with you, or whether you grew with people, I don't know. So, you know, for some people that would involve, you know, no contact situations and moving away from certain relationships. And for some people, you know, they choose to grow with you, and, you know, you guys end up having a death to the old version, the old dynamics, and a reemergence, a rebirth. You know, anyone who decided to take that healing journey, not with you, but of their own accord, on their own path. And that's when you become a match for each other again. So you have risen up, and anyone who has elevated with you into their own frequency. And I started to talk about this at the beginning of the reading, and then I got a bit sidetracked, so I'm sorry. But like, what I was trying to say is that, you know, we talk about all the things that will make us happy. But really what makes us the happiest is being ourselves. Because being ourselves is as close to the divine energy as we can possibly get. And I'm hearing that phrase, we're all just walking each other home. Like, what the soul really wants is to purify and to go back to being... They want the experiences, but they also want the lessons. And, you know, I'm hearing Abraham Hicks saying, you know, we all know about the, you know, you can talk about having a massage. it's not the same as experiencing the massage. And what I was going to say, last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to pull a couple of more cards for you and leave it there, pile number 1, was that a lot of the times we can replace I feel with I think. Because I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but we have a tendency to say I feel instead of I think. So we need to learn to embody the energy. And I feel that that's how we heal. We process and we alchemize our feelings and emotions. And it's not the same as pushing them down or ignoring them. It's not the same as holding on to them. That we're back to equanimity with ourselves, within our bodies, within our psyche, within our mental space. And Gemini is I think, and Gemini rules the lungs. So that ability to take a breath, to release, to just let ourselves know that mental chatter is not thinking. Thinking happens, and that's reminding me of the moon card as well. The greater mind. Like we share a common. We can't move humanity. We can't advance from 3D into 5D until we can settle our minds a bit more and know that our subconscious is accessible by doing our shadow work and by alchemizing through our bodies, through our actions, and through looking at the truth. I'm surprised the sword of truth didn't come out. My goodness. So, to finish up pile number 1, bringing this all together, body, mind, soul, synergy. 41. You're in a state of change. You're in a state of, you've gone from a state of transformation into a state of alignment and synergy. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. That is what the Fae have to tell you. You're moving into this beautiful stage, this beautiful next phase of life that you have prepared yourself for by doing the healing work, by doing your shadow work, by recognizing your power, by recognizing that which you needed to leave behind, by facing the truth of who you are, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and recognizing that in the relationships and circumstances around you as well. None of us are any better than anyone else, and you know that. It doesn't mean that you need to keep playing with people who wish you harm and who don't know any better and who can't treat you like you are you are the highest authority of your own life, and that is a co-creation with the divine and your divine self. So I am going to leave it there, pile number 1. You are absolutely beautiful. I am so excited for what's coming for you. If you would like to share, please do feel free to leave some comments. And of course, take care of yourself. And if you do not wish to share, that is absolutely fine too. And I would love to see you back at another reading, pile number 1. Take care and bye. So pile number 2. You had, first up, you had the he of the fiery sword. Pile number 2. Oh, and you had the temptress. Okay, I'm getting really, 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 really strong throat chakra energy for you, which is interesting because we're new moon in Gemini. And with that, I'm getting truth and discernment. So I don't know if you are in the process of healing, but I would think that you are. I think you're in the process of healing. Pile number one may be where you're going. Pile number two, because they had more of a further down the journey flavor than I'm getting for this pile. The Temptress, straight away I'm getting 9 of Pentacles from this. And we've got feminine energy and masculine energy, and I'm getting the Emperor from here. I'm also getting throat chakra, Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel. So throat chakra it's the gateway to the higher realms. And also we must be grounded in our bodies, in our lower chakras, our root chakra, be grounded, have also, mastery over our emotional space, and a clear heart, be in touch with what we want in a heart space in order to really have a balanced and well-functioning throat chakra, in my opinion. And the feminine, it's reminding me of the Moon card as well, because it's speaking of intuition, depth, and emotion. And here we've got the fiery sword of light, and this Emperor is coming. I think I mentioned that already. Emperor is reminding me of the 4. So we've got the very strong harmonization of the masculine and feminine, but around the throat chakra, and that's kind of, as I said, the gateway. So I'm feeling the energy coming up from the earth, from the body, and also down through the crown chakra and meeting at the throat chakra of truth. So I think you've been surrounded by, I think you've been gaslit a lot. I think you've been surrounded by a lot of untruth. So you have had to really process your emotions. You have had to learn how to get emotional. You have had to learn how to get your emotional regulation online. You probably were gaslit a lot. You were probably villainized for having emotions. At least not the ugly ones, like sadness or depression or anger or frustration. I'm getting like, if you were in any ways, I'm hearing that, that kind of, the way they kind of like, oh, she's just writing a woman off because she's emotional. I'm getting that vibe being kind of thrown at you. And then the other side being that, like, the not having an emotion is, I guess, toxic masculinity, but it can exist in male and female. So it's not necessarily, so I'm talking about masculine and feminine energies. I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting a bit tongue-tied, and it's interesting because it's about Gemini energy. And Gemini is communication and all that kind of jazz. So you might have had very trickstery energy around you, who will, you would feel it in your body, but they would undermine you and tell you that you were crazy, or tell you that, like, that up was down and down was up and black was white and white was black, and, love was control, and how it goes. I'm also hearing as well, so we talked about this in pile number 1 briefly as well. So in July, which is Cancer season, Uranus is moving into Gemini for the first time in 84 years. So for many of us, that will be a new experience, first time around. So there's something about, I was thinking about this before, that communication, it's not just information out, it's also information in. But it's also the use of that information, the integration of that information in our auras, in our bodies, in our senses, in our psyches. And that would be alchemizing it. That would be metabolizing it. So for example, an emotion, you have a reaction to somebody, insulting you, for somebody disrespecting you. You feel some anger. Maybe as a child, you're not able to express that because you're not, you're not able to argue with your parents, for example, or your caregivers. So you stuff it down. So that later needs to be alchemized or metabolized. And you may have natural ways of doing that when you're a kid, but if you never are able to be heard, and you're always being gaslit, or the reality of what you know to be true is being undermined, that then builds up and calcifies. So at some point it does need to be addressed, and that's where we get into our shadow work. And Archangel Michael, he'll come in with the truth. He also is very strong protection, and the sword of light, the sword of truth, the sword of the divine. And the story of Archangel Michael is interesting as well, because the story goes that he was God's favorite archangel, and then he believed he was better than God, and then he got his lessons, let's put it that way. And now he is, a fierce protector, and he is such a protector of this planet. And he is very much in harmony of the truth. And Archangel Gabriel, for me, is also, he's the harbinger of the truth in the best possible way. But they're not fluffy, these archangels. The truth, the truth hurts. You can't hide from the truth. So anyway, what I'm seeing as well is, as we're moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, so we've got a reunification so the age of Pisces is it's moon energy. It is hanged man energy. It is it's water, it's emotion, it's depth, it's intuition without a container. But then Aquarius is this contained water, but it's a reunification of for me, the feminine and the masculine. You've got the water being held. There's a structure around it. So the structure is, for me, the masculine holding the emotions, holding the intuition. It's also the strategy. It's also the thinking. It's how we move forward and what action we take and what we do with that soup that is us, and what we're adding to it, what we're taking away from it, what we're bubbling in our own cauldron. And hopefully we're working with the divine and the light, if that's something that you're aware of. I'm sure it is if you're on this channel, but not everybody else has that awareness, and it doesn't mean that you need to play with them. It doesn't, but you might need to work with them. They might be in your family. They might be the father of your children. They might be insert role here. So you will still need to engage with people, but you need to know how to be discerning in order to navigate that space well. And I'm hearing the phrase divide and conquer. What a better way. So we're moving away from the age of Pisces, which was really about the patriarchy. What a better way to control humans than to divide the masculine and the feminine. And the way that kind of showed up was having, my other half, my better half, my this, my that. Yes, a beautiful partnership is beautiful, but it doesn't mean that I'm half and you're half and we come together and make a whole. Two wholes come together to make a union. Okay, interesting. Beautiful. Okay, I'm not surprised the Hermit came out. And the Four of Swords. 2 healing cards here. You've been through it, pile number 2. Really been through it. Oh my gosh. My gosh. Ace of Pentacles, beautiful. All right, pile number 2. Okay, so you have got the 7 of Wands, but you always had the higher ground in terms of you knew the truth. So they came at you with lies, with untruths, and you got I'm very strongly getting gaslit for this pile. You had to bring online your discernment. You had to go into your own energy. 9 is giving me Hermit. You got the Hermit card. You had to heal from all of this. People told you were selfish, for example, if you didn't carry their burdens for them. 9 is the wounded warrior, 9 of Wands. This came up in pile number 1, 2. And I was saying at the beginning of this reading that I feel like pile number 1 may be a continuation of where pile number 1 is coming from. So you have this next phase. You've suffered a lot of disappointment and grief, and you're wondering why things didn't work out and why, like, you put all this effort in, and you know it just, your manifestations didn't manifest in the way that you thought they were going to. And a lot of that has to do with your being around people who pulled down your frequency. So you couldn't manifest from a truthful place. You were building, if you build, I've said this before on my channel, but if you build in a toxic waste dump, you're going to end up, if you build your home in a toxic waste dump, you're going to end up with some, you're going to end up very likely with some health issues. So you don't want to do that. I just pulled this for you. Cosmic flower. The frequency of cosmic flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world. And I'm seeing a lot of darkness around here and a lot of red for the root chakra. So I feel like you incarnated into a family that was dealing with family trauma. And you were probably a ray of sunshine in that darkness. And you brought an ending and transformation into that space. However that played out in your specific case, you definitely had to connect with your own inner magician. And the magician is Mercury energy. You were mercurial. And I feel like people more fed off it than helped you build it up. And you had to move away. Whether that was physically, whether that was figuratively, by putting in, I'm seeing a lot of gray in the background here. So maybe you had to gray rock quite a bit in order to protect what you wanted to manifest. And I'm also seeing, these are reminding me also of Plutonic energy, in terms of like maybe you were very giving of your information and your ideas, but then you just never got anything. I'm not going to say that you never got anything off the ground, but you saw a lot of people kind of mimicking things. Like you would speak something into existence and then you'd see somebody else go off and live it and do it, because they were playing in your face insofar as they were keeping you engaged in giving them ideas, and then they run off and build on that with a support system. But you didn't have that. You were the one carrying the burdens. You were the one coming up with the ideas. You cannot build when you're constantly defending yourself. So either you had to defend your creative ideas, you had to defend your heart, you had to defend probably all of the above. And you had a lot of things that potentially did not get off the ground. And maybe you even had people who just kicked your stuff over, like just smashed your sandcastle. You could have been around a lot of people who were miserly, who kept their own heart blocked, who stood over you. Because see, this person is towering over the town and standing on their pentacles. And has a pentacle on their head, like they're some sort of person that needs to be worshipped, like a fake halo, a pholo. And this caused you to retreat into yourself and in a space of healing. And I feel like you might still be in that space of healing. And the idea is what I'm hearing is keep going. And we've got another 9 here. You're almost there, Pile. With the 1 and the 8, you're almost there. You are your own cosmic flower. Spirit, Ace of Pentacles, you are about to your you is about to emerge in such a beautiful way, and it's coming like the heart is right at the center, and you're building of yourself. You know, before it manifests in the world, I'm seeing you taking action from a heart-centered space, and the turquoise is the higher heart, and you were surrounded by a lot of darkness. You've got a lot of protection around you. You've got a lot of earthly energy here, pile number 2. And the thing with Temptress as well is sometimes it is too good to be true, but sometimes it is not. And being in touch, having a very strong male energy, masculine energy, having that ability to take action, that ability to strategize, that ability to stand up for yourself, that ability to defend what you need to defend. Also having strong feminine energy, that ability to just be, observe, ground, to feel your emotions, to process them, to end things. That's not necessarily a feminine energy, but like it has, I'm seeing both Shiva and Kali. So being your own Shiva and being your own Kali has given you an ability to be able to, replant yourself in divine soil. And that's what I see is happening for you over here. And then you're coming into balance. And you've moved away from whatever this was, way of life, way you were raised, thoughts that were projected on you. Maybe, when you grow up around something and societally, culturally, that's all you know. It's not until you get some distance from it or you have something to compare it to that you might get that ding, ding, ding. You might get that, I don't want to live this way. Even if your body is telling you something else in order to stay safe, you might have to go along. We're seeing a lot of that in the media at the moment. We've got, this is the Lemurian Star Child Oracle deck. And I feel like you may be a starseed that incarnated into a toxic family. This is opening the heart, right to love, be loved, and have a heart healing. I don't think you got that. I think that your love was kind of on tap for other people, but you didn't know how to protect it. And what was offered to you as love was was lip service, was words. The last cloak. Release old identities, magnificence realized. So that's coming out on the Magician. So you've had a lot of disappointment in relationship, probably across the board. If you grew up in a toxic environment, you would have grown up and taken that out into the world and attracted like that. And it's no shade. It just is what it is. And that put you into a need to heal and a need to just learn your own energy and learn your own power. So you're releasing this energy, and she's got sacred geometry on her forehead. I feel like you could be a traveler as well. She's reminding me of Galadriel and the Elvens. Like you might be connected. You might be very strongly connected to the Fae realm, and I'm hearing that you are. And 8 is like, she looks like she went on a journey. We're seeing some shamanistic, or that's not the word, druidic edifice here. So maybe going to sacred sites and doing rituals at them, or just being in that space, would be really soothing to your body and your aura and your soul. You've got this beautiful heart here with this gorgeous lotus flower here. We've got that flower imagery repeated here. And she's got what looks like, you know, kind of an elven flower, like at the top of her staff, like a light flower. You're flowering yourself. That's what's coming next for you. Oh my goodness. Fire of transformation. So in your healing space, you're purifying all of that toxicity that was just leveled at you. All of that toxicity that was that you came in and you wanted to help these family. You wanted to help this family to purify. We've got the moon here and we've got the phoenix here for the fire. Radical purification, violet flame, surrendering, resurrection. So I'm going to leave it there for you, pile number 2. You're in this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful healing, and you're at the tail end of it, I'm hearing. You've done your shadow work. You're really just wrapping up. And the next phase is the blossoming of you, the rise of the purified version of you. So you may want to, Archangel Michael, is very strongly around you. Archangel Gabriel is very strongly around you. And I'm the violet flame, Saint Germain. So maybe some meditations around that, or just listening to some of that frequency could be very soothing for your body. For your body, and water might be very soothing. So what I'm getting for you, pile number 1, is, you know, this is a step on the journey, and you know the lotus flower grows out of the mud. So if it doesn't look like things are changing, they are about to. But this is a very, very, I'm hearing that from the opening line of Dune, the first one. The beginning is a very important time. So you're at the tail end of your purging, your healing, your purification. Beauty awaits. Beauty awaits is what I hear. You're about to not just become your own flower, you're about to become your whole, I'm just seeing a beautiful, like, botanical garden. And as you get to rebuild, you're going to be landscaping your auric field, your life, your relationships, by just being you and moving in harmony with your own heart's truth, and around people who you will have the discernment to partner with, people who genuinely want the best for you. So again, I'm going to leave it there, pile number 2. Thank you for incarnating at this time. I'm sending you so much love. I know it sucks when you're you want the healing to be done, and the healing hurts. But you're almost there. Spirit's very, very proud of you. Call in the Fae if you wish to. And you have a lot of love and help and support around you, even if you don't always feel it, because I know the heaviness of that can be really difficult to connect to. But it's one step. It's one step along the way. It can be a very long step. I do understand that, but you're getting there. And I'm seeing, you know, that phrase, you never stand in the same river twice, because the water is always flowing. You're letting the truth wash through you, and you're not holding on to toxic, stagnant water anymore. And we had the Death card, which is Scorpio energy, which is stagnant water energy. So pile number 2, best of luck with the rest of your healing. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. So pile number 3, you had a collective of pixies and you had the artist. So the artist here is drinking some tea and they be on some books. So I just feel like you're my artistic pile. You're very creative. You're very playful. And Gemini again, new moon in Gemini. I feel like you're probably going to get a lot of ideas, so you probably want to write them down. I'm seeing it in the books. You could be starting a writing project. You could be using your experience, the tea. You could be using your truth to fuel some creative endeavor. If you haven't read it and you haven't come across it, The Artist's Way might be something that is of interest to you. And that book was totally channeled by the author of that book, and it really is a way of getting in touch with, you know, our inner artist, our inner creative. And I remember hearing Picasso say that everybody is a genius, I think, but they train it out of you. And I'm hearing that song by Supertramp, Logical Song, as well. Storyteller. I think you've got stories to tell, and however you choose to tell them is your truth. So that could be it could be through, you know, stories, or it could be through some other form, some other creative expression. I'm hearing music. I'm hearing dance. I'm hearing fine art. I'm hearing building something, you know, landscaping and architecture, building a community. I'm seeing Atlantis. I'm seeing sacred geometry for you. I'm seeing, oh wow, I'm just seeing the cosmos for you, pile number 3. Wow. Oh my goodness, I think you're very connected to the dragon realm as well. The dragons are, I'm seeing a lot of abundance for you. The dragons are, and your wealth coming from something, a creative expression. And with Uranus moving into Mercury in July, I think that you might be someone who finds a new way of, I don't want to say necessarily a new medium, but you could. I'm seeing something novel about the way you're creatively expressing, something that hasn't been done before. And I wouldn't come at it from a like, how can I come up with something that's not been done before to creatively express? I would say, like you do in the artist way, two of the things that she talks about is having a weekly artist date. So taking yourself and just throwing yourself for 2 hours in that process of just letting yourself be engaged in some sort of expression or play. So that, the artist date, and then she does the morning pages, which is 3 pages every day, where it's just a stream of consciousness. And it gets the energy moving. And I used to do the morning pages every day, and I just realized that I have not been doing that recently. So that's maybe a message for me too. I'm hearing for you, pile 3, play, slay, play and slay. Play and slay. We've got the Queen of Emotions, High Priestess, beautiful. Knight of Voices, Justice, Knight of Inspiration. I think we can get one more here. Wheel of Fortune. I'm seeing a lot of black and gold here, and it's reminding me of silver and gold and black and gold. 3 of Materials. This is the Muse deck. Nine of Voices. Page of Materials. Two of Materials. Six of Inspiration under the Knight of Inspiration. Very, very beautiful. And the Muse of Voices, which is, okay, so Queen of Emotions is the Queen of Cups, High Priestess, Knight of Air, Knight of Swords, Justice, Knight of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, Three of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, Three of Pentacles. Oh no, Page of Pentacles. I'm sorry. Page of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles. And Six of Wands. And then you've got this is like the Muse of Voices. It's like, I guess it's the equivalent of King of Swords. So you've got a level of mastery in your air energy. And I think that that speaks to Gemini communication. Look, they're writing on books. Creative expression, whatever it is. And we've got the Nine of Voices here, which is the Nine of Swords. So that speaks to, you know, in the traditional tarot, it's the person in anguish, like mental anguish. But I feel like you've moved towards that. Like look at all of the like the orb energy here. We've got fireworks here. We've got the Wheel of Fortune, which is, you know, basically the hand of God, destiny's wheel, whatever you want to call it. We've got a portal here just at the higher heart, and it's emotions. So you taking that energy, and you've healed your emotions. So I'm getting very, very strong horse medicine for you too. And horse medicine is very, very strong, very, very independent. You've got a winged horse here, the Knight of Voices. So I feel like you're going to get a lot of ideas of how to express yourself creatively and how to release that into the world in a way that you enjoy, that's fun. And we didn't talk about a collective of pixies. A collective of pixies, they are just like, you know, that phrase of a man's got to do what a man's got to do. Well, a pixie's got to do what a pixie's got to do. And they got to dance. A pixie's got to dance. And it's like, in order for, they have a sacred dance. In order for the flowers to grow, for the world to turn, for the body to, for the energy, in order, like dance, fun is fundamental. Spirit loves fun. Joy, those lighter vibrations, and learning how to take whatever your story is. And when I say your story, I don't mean that you need to go and have a Netflix documentary where you do a misery memoir from start to end, and that needs to be your life's work, where you're just like, one thing after another, here's all the bad things that happened to me. Or on the flip side, be the opposite, be like, look at how great I am. Just using that juice, using that experience, using that whatever to integrate it. And you've done that. I can see that very strongly. This is what's ahead for you. You're so balanced. There's so much going on here. You're just like, you're an orchestra onto yourself. You've really learned your justice is being this, living your life in this colorful, intuitive place of mastery, where you've healed your emotions, you've mastery over your mental energy. You've got knights here as well. So you've got the Knight of Inspiration, which is the Knight of Wands. So you're very good at, like, you know, that charging up to get a project off the ground. And that's how I'm seeing it in this. So I feel like you're going to be, there's a TED talk that talks about being a multi-potentialite, and I feel like that's you. You just have to have the discernment to start things and to build them. And I feel like that you've been doing that. So maybe you were somebody who like had kind of diffuse energy in the past, but now you've learned how to focus. You've learned that phrase where attention goes, energy flows. So you've learned how to not carry around the anxiety, how to focus your energy, how to use your words wisely, when to inject the passion into something, when to, listening and hearing are not the same thing. For me, pure hearing, for me at the moment, or at least the way I'm feeling it today, or the way I'm understanding it today, is that hearing is kind of a pure listening. Listening for me is kind of more worldly, more temporal. Listening can be, and it's neutral, but what is the intention? Are you listening to hear, to work with the divine? Are you listening to hear, to advance, to be the person to be the change that you want to see in the world? Or are you listening to move in on somebody, to stack the odds in your favor so that you can get your outcome while somebody else loses? And if you're playing a game of football, that's fine, because you're on the field and you're moving around. And if you're listening for, the plays, for what's going on in the field, and everybody knows what the game is, but if you're the only one playing the game, no bueno. You've got the page of Pentacles, which is that, you're good at starting new things. And the rose is very strong protection energy for me. So you're getting better at protecting your own creative endeavors and kind of building something and partnering with people who are honoring of what it is that you're building, who's not going to just come over and kick over your sandcastle because they don't want you to have. There's a lot of people in the world who just don't have this amount of just beautiful. I'm just seeing so much beauty and creativity, and you're just this incredibly gifted old soul that wherever you go and whatever you bring forth, when you're able to operate when you're able to be in your own zone, where you're not having to defend yourself, where you're around community that allows you to build, and you have to build that community yourself. And of course, then the Six of Inspiration is the Six of Wands, and look, she's got a star in her head. So whatever you're bringing, you're going to be known for it, at least in your field. There's potential that some of you could genuinely, take it more global and bigger than that. But, in your field, or in your circle of influence, in your community, this is something that's going to be received well. And I see many things for you. And the justice is that you're not being thrown off your path by sabotage, self-sabotage, or other people's sabotage. If something doesn't work, you're like, well, I'm still me. If somebody tears something down, I can build it again, or I can build something else, and I'm just not going to partner. Like, you can't. I think I was listening to Dr. Ramani, and she was saying something like, it takes a long time for a therapist even to diagnose, let's say, somebody who might have NPD. You're not expected to be able to like being in relationship, there's some level of having to be vulnerable. So being strong enough to be vulnerable, also taking your intuition with you, also taking your brain with you, also alchemizing your emotions, also doing the work, building, also, paying attention to your emotions, also collaborating with people, because nobody can do it all by themselves. All those things will continue to move the wheel of fortune for you in the direction of the divine, which is what your heart is about. And you have really learned how to bring balance into your life. This next phase of your life, what I'm seeing for you is just abundance. And not just abundance in like, oh, you're going to have lots of money in the bank. Yeah, you might or you might not. You will have abundance in what matters to you. And you will take the time to consciously blueprint that for yourself. Map it for yourself first internally before you share it with other people. And before you allow other people into a space where they can really do some destruction. And even if something gets in, it'll never get that far again, because you have strengthened your vibration to such a degree. A collection of pixies. You're making your own collection of pixies. You go about your work with gratitude. You go about your work with a sense of and by work I mean your work in the world, your relationships, your shadow work, your artist dates, your things that you cook in the kitchen, the stuff that you do in the garden, the chores that you do, the meditation that you do, how you show up in the world. You do that with a sense of gratitude, and you're doing your energy work, and you're checking in with your own, you're running it through your own filter system. You're like, does this align with me? Does it align with my heart? And you're getting better and 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 better at doing that. Not bitter. I don't see any. It doesn't mean that you're never going to have a negative emotion. You're just going to alchemize them. You're going to learn how to, you already know how to, you're just going to express it in a healthy way. You're going to express it, and through that there comes beauty. I'm just seeing so much independence and beauty from you. And that, I'm not saying that you won't be in a relationship, and you may already be, in a relationship, but this next stage of you, I'm just seeing unification with the divine, just so much stronger and brighter. Like, look at this. I mean, that's at the center of your reading. It's just so unbelievably beautiful. Pile number 3. I don't know who you are, but I'm a lot of Venusian energy for you. I'm also seeing just a very mystical, just body, mind, and soul, as above, so below. You are just, wow, Earth. The frequency of Earth activates our deep connection to this physical plane by showing us the beauty of all the aspects of our Great Mother and revealing the more ethereal, spiritual aspects of our nature. I feel like that's you. You're just like, you're telling the story of God through like being coherence. Can't write this. You're telling the story of the divine by literally expressing yourself. Whatever that is. The frequency of coherence supports our ability to harmonize the frequency of the heart with the frequency of the mind for an optimal ability to create the reality that we desire. I feel like you're expressing your spirit, and you're using your heart and your mind to be able to bring it forth in the world. So beautiful, pile number 3. Absolutely gorgeous. So this next phase, what the Fae have, like, work with the Fae if you feel like it. They're fun. You can use trickster energy in a way that's in alignment with the divine. Just so, so gorgeous. I feel you building a community first internally. I feel like you've done that already, actually. And you're now, it's now radiating out. You may already have a community, but you may just be, you know, kind of leveling up to, I don't want to say more, but like it's kind of, there's an organicness. Like, you know, when you plant a garden, like you don't have to, you do tend to it and you prune it, but you've seeded things that are there to, they kind of can take care of themselves then, even though you tend to them. So I'm seeing that in your creative endeavors. Like when you, let's say you write a book and it's beautiful, or a song, like the energy and the beauty that it inspires in other people is what I'm seeing for you. And it's bringing me back to Napoleon Hill. He was offered the chance by his mentor to be around millionaires, and then he wrote that book, which I'm totally blanking on right now. But like the amount of people that he inspired by saying yes to his own heart, to his own being in coherence, his mind and his body, and how he manifested that in the world, like, has impacted millions and millions and millions of people. And I'm seeing some version of that for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be millions. I'm talking about the energy. What you bring forth will inspire in others. And that is so, so beautiful, pile number 3. And I am just going to leave it there. And I wish you the best. And if you like my readings, please feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you at another reading, I hope. So for now, with love, bye.